We found human remains.
State police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
July 13th, 2023.
One individual under arrest, and he's currently in custody at this time.
What is my client told him? He told me he didn't do this.
For decades, the tranquil shores of Gilgo Beach held secrets that were whispered by the waves, secrets that would ultimately give birth to a nightmare that gripped the nation. In this peaceful and beautiful location, where things might seem pleasant, a dreadful story began. A puzzle that started almost 30 years ago, the Gilgo Beach killings, a haunting chapter in the annals of crime, spanned from 1996 to 2011. Leaving behind a trail of dread along the south shore of Long Island, New York. Amidst this gruesome series, the remains of potentially up to 24 individuals were discovered. The haunting tale commenced with the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert on May 1st, 2010, a tragic prelude to the horrors that lay ahead. As Shannon Gilbert's disappearance sent ripples through time, it unraveled a series of events that ultimately unveiled the disturbing truth. A string of 11 bodies, each cruelly snuffed out, discovered on and around the haunting shores of Gilgo Beach.
We found human remains.
Among these victims was the tragic Gilgo 4, young and petite sex workers named Melissa Bartholomew, age 24, Megan Waterman, age 22, Amberlynn Costello, age 27, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes, age 25, who had advertised their services on Craigslist. Against the backdrop of Gilgo Beach's tranquil waves, these 4 young women, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, a spirited card dealer, disappeared on July 9, 2007. Melissa Bartholomew, a vibrant hairdresser yearning for city lights, was last seen on July 12, 2009. Amberlynn Costello, battling personal demons on a desperate journey, vanished on September 2, 2010. And Megan Waterman, whose bus ride led to an unimaginable fate, leaving her young daughter motherless on June 6, 2010. More than a decade would pass, shrouding the investigation in darkness, leaving questions unanswered and wounds unhealed. Then, on that fateful day of July 13, 2023, a glimmer of light pierced through the shadows, as 59-year-old Rex Heuermann was finally apprehended.
One individual under arrest, and he's currently in custody at this time.
Who was Rex Heuermann anyways, and what was his significance to the case? By day, an architect weaving dreams into blueprints. By night, a scary force is ensnaring a community in fear. His polished facade mirrored his beautifully crafted designs, concealing a darkness that gripped Gilgo Beach for years. Running a Manhattan architecture firm near the Empire State Building, Heuermann's days were filled with precision and plans. Clients admired his attention to detail, even as colleagues found themselves both inspired and challenged by his unwavering dedication. A graduate of Berner High School, class of '81, Heuermann was a husband, a father, and a member of the Dream Team, a New York City-based networking group. But beneath this, there was a man who had many complicated connections that went beyond just buildings, enveloping him in a storm of his own creation. The investigation unfolded like a labyrinthine puzzle, gradually forming the Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force in February 2022. This team brought together local, state, and federal investigators to fight the forces of darkness and bring justice to the victims. The story deepened as investigators gathered clues. They looked at cell phone records. The women had been contacted using burner phones, which are designed for temporary, sometimes anonymous use, after which they can be discarded. By using maps, investigators found 2 places where these calls came from. They later linked these places to Mr. Heuermann. One was near his home in Massapequa Park, and the other near his office in Manhattan at 5th Avenue and 36th Street. In March 2022, a big clue appeared. Investigators found out that Mr. Heuermann had a Chevrolet Avalanche truck when the killings happened. This was the same type of truck that a person had seen near a victim's house just before she disappeared. In July 2022, a detective took 11 bottles from Mr. Heuermann's trash. Investigators compared the DNA from these bottles with the DNA from hairs found on some of the bodies. The crime lab in Suffolk County then matched a hair's DNA from one of the suspects, Mrs. Waterman's body, with DNA taken from leftover pieces of a pizza box that Mr. Heuermann threw away. Who could have imagined a pizza box would be the most effective clue to catching an alleged serial killer? It's July 13, 2022. Detectives met Heuermann outside his office and placed him in handcuffs. He was surprised, maybe because he thought he could hide forever. But the chains of the law finally caught up to him. All that was left now was for the hammer of justice to deliver the final blow. Inside Heuermann's house, a soundproof room was reportedly found in the basement, possibly linked to a victim's death. He also created a reinforced vault in the house where he had kept 279 guns. A facade of normalcy masked his digital footprints, revealing a hidden email account that exposed disturbing searches between March 2022 and June 2023 for sex workers, sadistic torture-related pornography, and child pornography, unveiling the darkness he had carefully kept hidden. He also made over 200 searches related to each of the women, including why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? And the names of some of the women and their relatives. Heuermann allegedly even searched for information on the task force investigating him. Additionally, law enforcement obtained footage from May of 2023 of Heuermann purchasing additional minutes for one of the phones. Suffolk County grand jury charged him with 3 counts of first-degree murder for the killings of Melissa Bartholomew in 2009 and Megan Waterman and Amber Costello in 2010. According to the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, he's also the prime suspect in the 2007 disappearance and demise of a 4th woman, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, according to a court record from prosecutors. Heuermann has not been charged in connection with that 4th homicide, but the investigation is expected to be resolved soon, the document says. Through his attorney, Heuermann has refuted the charges against him. "I did not do this," Heuermann said after his arrest, according to his court-appointed attorney, Michael Brown.
What has my client told me? He told me he didn't do this.
Only time will tell whether he is found guilty of murdering numerous other bodies that were discovered in the area. For now, the case is ongoing, with each day bringing in a new highlight. As the waves whispered their secrets to the sands of Gilgo Beach, justice emerged from the depths, a predator unmasked, a community united, and some solace provided to the families of the victims. Within this haunting domain, the stories of the victims shall resonate, a testament to the fortitude of those who pursued the truth. We pay our deepest respects to all the fallen victims, and we hope that their families find the strength to endure this difficult time. That's all for today. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.